fois pour aller parler anglais avec les auxiliaires modaux qui posent énormément de problèmes aux élèves qui sont au collège, notamment ceux qui sont en classe de 3e. Nous allons voir qu'est-ce que ça donne aujourd'hui avec professeur Massamba Seck, un autre Massamba sur le plateau. Nous en avons deux, un Secken et un Nguyen. En tout cas, c'est un plaisir.
Bienvenue.
Allez-y.
Bienvenue à mon club.
Thank you very much. Okay, it's a pleasure for me to be among you. Right? Okay. Hello, dear learners. Right. So you know schools are closed because of that terrible pandemic that is the coronavirus. That is spreading very fast and is causing a lot of damage to humanity. So it's very important to urge you to comply with the measures dictated by the health authorities. You want to avoid catching the virus, and this is very important. Now, one of those measures I'm going to show you is the use of that hand sanitizer. This is very important, right? Okay?
Very important for our society.
For sure.
Right. Thank you very much.
All right, that's it.
C'est pas du café, hein?
No, I know, it's not coffee. Gay people, okay, might mistake it for milk or water, yes. Right? But you don't have to drink it.
How's in your family?
Come on.
How's in SECK family?
Okay, so as I told you, schools are closed, but teaching and learning are continuing, thanks to the magic of television and new technologies in general. And it's an opportunity for me to thank you, Dr. Massamba and Asumenchu.
You're welcome.
And the television management, and thanks also to all the actors who are involved in the process. Now, so far the focus has been on exam classes, that is troisième and terminal. But it's going to change today. I'm going to deliver a lesson for the 5th form.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that is second classes. And the lesson will be on modal verbs, especially the expression of advice, obligation, or necessity and prohibition. And to begin with, I'm going to provide a context. Okay, this is very important. And I couldn't find a better context than that of the coronavirus. Now, we're going to explore a document. And this document is about some advice given by World Health Organization experts. And the document is about the advice. So we're going to have a look at the advice provided by those experts. All right. Here is the advice. So we're going to read the advice from expert about the virus. World Health Organization. Coronavirus disease, COVID-19, advice for the public. You should wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer that contains at least 6% alcohol. You ought to cover your mouth and nose with your elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze. You shouldn't touch your eyes, nose, and mouth. If you develop cough, fever, and difficulty breathing, you must contact a health specialist quickly. You have to stay at home during the lockdown. The lockdown, that is the confinement. You don't have to go out. If you are healthy, you only need to wear a mask when you are taking care of a person with suspected COVID-19 infection. Replace the mask with a new one. You mustn't reuse it. You don't have to leave your home to pay your bills. You can use money transfer services for that. You should avoid large events and mass gatherings. That is when a lot of people meet together. If you have enough food at home, like a gay family, you needn't go out. All right? Now, this is the context of our lesson today. Now, at this phase, I'm going to get the students participate in the lesson, because we want to get our students to be active learners and not passive ones. They should take an active part in the acquisition of knowledge, and this is very important. Now, the last activity we're going to do, we're going to try and match the modal verbs. Okay, match the modal verbs in the document, of course, with each of these statements. Okay, I'm very sorry for the handwriting. 1. It isn't necessary. The second one, it is a recommendation. Yes, a recommendation or a piece of advice. Okay. For 3, it is a prohibition. And 4, it is an obligation or necessity. Okay. Now, so if you look at the document, so if you look at, it's either necessary, okay, the modal verbs corresponding, okay, so here we have 2, it isn't necessary, you have, okay, don't have to, and you also have needed, right? It's a recommendation. We have should
and ought to.
and ought to, right? I was insisting on the pronunciation here, should and ought to. It's important. Now, statement 3, it is a prohibition. So here we have mustn't. Now, it is an obligation or necessity. For obligation or necessity, we have to. We also have must. We also have need to. Okay? So these are the models we find in the document. It's all right? Now, to say that something isn't necessary, okay, we use don't have to, needed. If it is a recommendation or a piece of advice, we use should and ought to. For prohibition, it is mustn't. And to talk about obligation or necessity, we have to, must, and need to. Now, let us recapitulate here, right? Remind you that lesson is about modals, and modals especially the expression of advice or recommendation. We also have obligation, yes, obligation or necessity, and also prohibition. Okay, let's take here. We have recommendations, advice. Now, for recommendations and advice, modal verbs that I use are should and ought to. Now, let's give example. Okay, so let's stay with the context of the coronavirus. Example, examples. You ought to wash your hands. You ought to wash your hands. This is very important. You ought to wash your hands to avoid catching the virus. Okay, an example we should. You shouldn't touch your eyes, nose, and mouth. You shouldn't. Yes, because should can also be used in the negative form. You shouldn't touch your eyes, nose, and mouth. Okay? Now, this is for recommendations and advice. So, modal verbs that are used to express this notion is they are, should, and and ought to. All right. Now, let's talk about obligation now. Obligation or necessity. That's good. Now, for obligation or necessity, so the modal verb we use to express obligation or necessity are must, have to, and need to, right? Must. Okay, now let us give examples, okay, with each of those modal verbs. I have an exam to take and I want to pass my exam. So I must work hard. I must work hard to pass my exam. I must work hard to pass my exam. Yes, because it is necessary for me to work hard if I want to pass my exam. Okay, have to, right. Suppose the teacher gives you a project work. You have to hand in, let's say, next week. Let's say by Friday. So you have to finish your project by next Friday, okay? Example, we have to finish the project by Friday. That's it. Now, maybe a word with must and have to. In some grammar books, okay, they find a slight difference between must and have to. Because they say that when you decide an obligation for yourself, you use must. But when the obligation comes from other people or organizations, you use have to. Example, you're working somewhere as a professional, okay, you know that you should work. You say, I must work because I'm somebody professional and serious. But if you decide to work just because the boss is watching you, you say, I have to work. But anyway, despite this, okay, in real life, must and have to are used interchangeably, right? Okay. And they both express obligation or necessity. And then we have need to. This is very important. Now, in these days of coronavirus, okay, some people keep on gathering, right? Because some people are always, doing things that are not, okay, advisable. So we need to change our behavior to fight the virus. We need to change our behavior to fight the virus. It is necessary. We need to change our behavior to fight
COVID-19.
Yes, the virus, that is COVID-19, right? Now, this is for obligation or necessity. All right. Okay. Now, we have obligation or necessity. But also, no obligation or necessity. Yes, for no obligation or necessity. Okay, so we're going to use don't have to and needn't. Don't have to, and needn't. Okay, to say that something is not necessary. Example, suppose you need a book. You are at school, and the book you need is in the school library. So you don't have to buy the book because it is in the school library. It is available there. Right. So let's take these examples. Okay. The book is in the school library. Okay. You don't have to buy it. Okay, it's not necessary because it is available in the library. All right. Okay, needn't. Now, suppose you have an exercise and then somebody wants to help you. Okay? You say, I can't do the exercise alone. You needn't help me. I can't do the exercise alone. You needn't help me. Right? Yes. Let's take this example. I can do the exercise alone. Okay? You needn't help me. I can't do the exercise alone. You needn't help me. All right. Now, when there is no obligation or necessity. Okay. Now, for prohibition, just to say that something is not allowed. Yes, we use mustn't. We use mustn't. Okay. Let's try and find an example. Now, there is a lockdown, confinement, okay? There is a curfew even. So, people mustn't go out of their homes from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. during the curfew. Right, yes, yes, you might get into trouble, right?
Okay.
Right. So here, people mustn't go out of their homes from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. during the curfew. Okay, that's it. Now, we're going to move on to the practice phase. I have prepared a few exercises. Okay, you're going to do, and then we're going to try and correct together next time. Okay, so concentrate and try to do the exercise. Okay, we'll have to correct next time. Now, these are the exercises. Now, the first one is a matching one. Okay, you match each of the following statement with the appropriate notion. You have statement and notions. Okay, you try to find the appropriate notion, okay, that goes with each statement. That's it. Now, the second exercise is a gap filling, right? You are given a list of modal verbs and a text with gaps. You have to find the right modal verb to fill in each gap. Okay, now the last one is a writing one. So this is instruction. Your friend is taking an exam next month. You write him or her an email to give him or her advice. Use in your email the modal verbs in the box. So you're going to write an email, but in your email you have to use these modal verbs that are in the box. Okay. Thank you for your attention. Okay. Learn your lesson. Stay at home. Stay safe. Right? And don't forget to comply with the protective measures, dictated by the health authorities. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. SECK. And I think that the children or the student can find this exercise on igfm.sn.
All right.
It is possible, or Facebook page, Salle des Profs de la Télévision Futur Média. En tout cas, thank you very much. Can I give one example? If, like a child, I must work hard to make happy our parents. It's correct? Or
Yes, you must work hard to make your parents happy.
Happy, very happy and proud.
Yes, very happy and proud.
Thank you very much.
Because your parents are making tremendous efforts for your success.
Yes, it's
okay. They give you clothes, they pay you for food, they pay for your school fees. Now, so the only thing, the least you can do for your parents is to work very hard to make them happy.
Okay, and we work very, very hard, and our parents will be proud of us. It's correct?
Yes, it's correct. Your parents will be proud of you.
Okay, thank you very much.
On condition that you work very hard.
Very, very hard. Okay. Thank you very much.
Right.
I'm proud of you, Dr. Masamba, also. Thank you very much.
But I'm sure that he's a SECK man. He'll rub our materials. Don't rub it.
No, I won't.
Don't rub it, don't eat it. Don't rub it, don't eat it.
No, I'm not a gay. I'm SECK. I'm honest.
Yes, that's
I want to take something that
I definitely believe that you're gonna eat it.
I think that will not.
Thank you a lot. I'm very proud of you.
Okay.
Very proud of you. So this is what we needed to show to young people that we have real good teachers. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Massamba Seck, professeur d'anglais. Il a assuré pour nous un cours sur les auxiliaires modaux et tout de suite.